Hello, today's 4th of January 2023. My name is Alexander Remenkov. I'm a ruling reality coach and I'm continuing my series Daily Reality with Alex. During 2023, I'm doing daily videos where I'm explaining and impressing and showing to my community and to all the people that are watching me how I'm living my daily reality, what is happening inside of my inner being, and what are the thoughts that I'm exploring, and how daily I'm constantly involved into interaction with reality. And this is how I'm doing every day, and this is how actually I'm able to interact more and more with life, and I'm moving into purposeful and meaningful experience from the moment I open my eyes to the moment I close my eyes, because this is the most important part of our existence. While we are conscious during the day, where are we putting our focus, what are we paying attention to, and how do we spend our time. These assets are helping us to comprehend reality, to transform it, to use it, and to constantly be able to interact with the five senses data stream, and also to influence long-term reality the way we are willing from our inner being reality to be. So, I would like to speak today about something that is happening with all of us, and all of us know that something is broken or something is missing within us. So when we go through reality, when we open our eyes daily, when we move through our daily routines, and when our mind starts working constantly in us, there is something that is telling us something is missing, something is not connected. There is a disconnection, and we are constantly experiencing that it is not the way everything should or will or is possible or is probable to work. We start experiencing different levels of experience and comprehensions, and we find lacks, and we find a lot of disassociation between our inner being, the outer reality, between our mind realm, our heart and feeling experiences, our gut desires. So we are developing the desire realm, we are developing the feeling realm, we are developing the mind realm, and meanwhile reality is not able to be coherent with who we are, and even within us there are a lot of differences and disassociation between the different mindfulness, the different feeling and emotional part of us, our energy, and there is so much going on all the time. And what I'm claiming here is that there is a missing part, and that's why we cannot synchronize. That's why it is not so easy. It doesn't matter how much we try to synchronize, to be in coherence. We are not meant to have experiences and to be in this realm, in the physical matter reality, alone. Since we are border zone creatures, since we are limitless being inside of us, since we are constantly experiencing the limitations of reality, there is something missing. And what is missing, according to me, based on my own personal experiences, is that we are created to be connected beings. Here is a big discussion going on. All of us have urges, and we are urging for freedom. When we want freedom, it means that we want independence. A lot of us are now in this movement to be out of the matrix and to try to work out of the box way of thinking, and so on and so on. But basically, there is a fundamental reality, existential positioning of the human being. And the human being is not created to be alone in this reality. What is missing in this reality and in all this interaction between reality and the human being is that the human being is in the moment disconnected. Once we are disconnected, we cannot participate in reality the way we are supposed to participate. There are so many possibilities, there are so many probabilities, there are so many assets in us that we are not using, and we cannot use because we are disconnected. Once we are connected, a lot of additional abilities are starting to happen for all of us. Then, of course, there are much more things that are happening, and I'm going to give you a small example with the Bible story about when Adam and Eve were casted out of the garden, and then man needed to work alone into the reality outside of the environment of its creators. So in the moment in our reality, we are in a state where we are outside the garden. So we are living in reality of disconnection from the creators. That's why we are staying in this reality, but we cannot find creators, and we cannot understand everything because we are not meant to be entities that are separate from their creators. It is a very big thought for comprehension, because a lot of people are thinking, well, Alex, we, the human beings, don't want one thing, and the thing that we don't want is to be slaves. We don't want master-slave relationship. We want independence. We want alone to tackle everything. We want ourselves to find the solutions, and that's why we've opened our minds. That's why we have found out so many beautiful solutions, and man is evolving constantly, and we are living in a much more beautiful reality than what was 2, 3, 4, 5,000 years ago. We are much more civilized today, and yet, though we are tapping into our potentials as human beings, still we are staying disconnected. A lot of the human beings, once they were out of the Garden of Eve, because there was still remembrance of connection, they started calling and trying to connect to the gods. And a lot of different ideas were developed about how this is to happen, but for sure there was something in the human being that wanted back to be connected with the gods that are outside of our reality, in the so-called heaven, in the so-called garden, or so on and so on. Still today, we are so much strongly willing to find extraterrestrial, to find someones that are more conscious than us, someones that are to mentor us how to live in our reality, and so on and so on. We are entering this space of reality without having instructions, without knowing directions, without having recipes, and so on. But let me show you how reality had made us connected beings, and why this is part of our long-term destiny. And once we accept it, and once we are able to go back into the connection, then a lot of other additional things start to happen in our reality that when we stay disconnected is not possible to experience. So once we move forward, we are really coming into this experience based on the womb of the mother, and when we go out of the womb, we are connected because through the mother we were able to have all the vital things. When the cord is cut, are we disconnected? No, we are in the environment and still in the realm, in the energy, in the vibe of the mother. We are hugged, we are fed by the mother, and so on till we come to 5, 6, 7, 8 years, and we feel strong bonding between the mother and the being. So yes, there is a disconnection from the womb. There is a little bit coming disconnection from the mother, and the being becomes a little by little independent. But still, long term, this type of disconnection is not meant to be disconnection from the creators and from the way existence is meant to be experienced. And of course, men searching for gods. Men have different ways to try to tap in the supernatural, in the spiritual. All the time we are trying to tap in the unknown, and we are willing to connect back to something. A lot of us even don't understand what it is. A lot of us go into mythos, we go into different experiences, and we are trying to be connected to something more. Alex, there should be something more. I'm not meant here just for what I'm experiencing, and so on and so on. And that's why we are living an experience where during this reality stream, we are trying to connect back to source. And then we are hating all the religions that are given to us through the mythos from the ages, different ways people were able to be connected to gods. And we have arguing all the time what exactly is God, since nobody has seen him, understood him, and so on and so on. And based on this type of thinking, we are trying to understand the unknown and why we are not only physical matter reality beings. And then there are different directions of connection. And the problem is that when we think about connection, we think that it is only one-way connection. Oh, Alex, so you are going to tell me that I need to be connected from earth to heaven through some kind of an invisible cord, and I'm going to have a daily connection with the God or religious experiences and so on and so on. Is this what you are going to tell me? Fundamentally, in us, the so-called channeling probabilities that we have is because long term we were able to be connected to our creators. Now there are a lot of arguing about religion and how exactly it is going to be done and who is the right way to connect and how are we connected. Are we connecting through the heart? Are we connecting through the mind? I want to connect only with things I see. Once I see visualized being and once I start to estimate and to see that they are much more benevolent than me and that they are going to help me all the time, then I'm going to connect. And then a lot of people are going into discussion, well, but Alex, what is happening if we are dependent on something outside of us? If we start depending on outside source, it is going to make us slaves. And then we go inside of us and we see, wow, inside of us there is also a source. So when you go into connection, connection is happening simultaneously in different directions. Once is the connection within you, between the different centers in you, understanding the coherence between the mind, the heart, and the guts, and all that is inside of you that is working. This type of internal connection is one of the ways we are connected, and we find out that there is something more. There is another type of connection where the internal being based on the experience of the external, is able to transcend the external and to connect with the spiritual without even knowing and understanding. This is a different type of connection. Then there is a connection where all my doingness is in such a way connected through reality and with the source and with the creation that everything that is happening daily in my life, I can label it in synchronicity, I can label it with different things, but I understand and I see and I know that I'm backed up from something more. I feel that the source and the power and everything that is invisible is behind me. I know that I'm pleasing those that are above me. This type of connection is different, and it is part of the way our deeds become coherent with what the construct is actually supporting. So this is another type of connection. Then in the realm of the mind, there is another type of connection where or we are going to go into independence, or we are going to go into more connectedness and understanding the reality, but not from the perspective of our own experience, but from the perspective of the creators, of the out of the universe type of consciousness. Well, Alex, we want just to be human beings that understand each other and just live happily in collaboration, and it's only us and nobody else in the universe. We don't want some other beings to be interacting with us. We are quite enough. But in reality, everything works in layers. We are the ones that are in charge in this earthly experience about taking care of the nature, taking care of the animals that are beyond us, and so on and so on. There are things that are under us, but it only means that there are beings and things that are above us. So we are to learn to live into interconnected reality, and of course long term we are understanding that there are benevolent and malevolent type of beings and experiences, but as we see in our daily stream that we are constantly in collaboration, we are constantly in interaction with other human beings, so we need to understand that there is a constant interaction in the spiritual, in the invisible realms, and there are a lot of beings out there. So what are we channeling? How are we channeling? Whom are we channeling is also very important part, because if you want to ask a psychiatrist, he's going to tell you that everything is happening just in your head, and actually you are having all the experience through your head, and you can go into a lot of different type of illnesses if you go into this disillusion to think that there is something more than only you. So a lot of us are afraid to go into different connections and understanding reality as a connected universe where much more things are happening than only what we experience on the level of the 5 data senses. And that's why a lot of us are grounded into different type of religions, and there we feel safe. But the problem is that when you go into specific type of religions, you become dysfunctional, because of course all religions are going to tell you exactly what is and don't explore anymore, and there are a lot of things that are dangerous, so don't go more than what we are telling you to go. And this is why it is important, the human being, to understand and to know that there is more, and to start building connections, but based on his own personal confidence, understanding. And then, Alex, can you tell me what is the way and how have you chosen it, because there are more than 5 basic religions, and then there are a lot of other different type of understanding where there is a depersonalization of gods and everything, and we're just connecting with the universe, and we are just connected with the energy, we are just connecting with the force, and there are no beings. So there are different ways and different approaches, but always validate what is actually working for you in the real experience and see if it's functional, if it's working to you, and always the answer is what I want and what I see, are they actually working in reality? And is my inner being and reality in connection and working in such a way that there is a flow that is working constantly through us, and through our connection with the source that we have chosen, we are actually experiencing a vivid reality in which we are 100% participating, and also we are pleasing, and we are able to express not even ourselves, but we are able to show to everyone, to ourselves, to reality, that we are connected, and based on our connection, there are much more beautiful and wonderful experiences that we are able to have in reality. And then, of course, there is a big bargaining going on, big transactions going on, and big commercials going on. Which type of religions, which type of connections are actually going to give us advantages in this reality? And for me personally, I have chosen Christianity. I have chosen this type of Christ and the Savior to be my only way for approaching the Creator, the Father, and through this type of experience, I am connected to everything that is out there, and for me, it is working. But I'm constantly validating a lot of things. And there is big paradox in reality. If there are gods, we want them to be mighty, we want them to be helping us, and we want them to use them just like genes or just like someone that is working for us. But reality is working the opposite way. We are created here to be on our level of expertise, and we are to know how to be connected, how to be channeling, and how to be in real experience with higher beings, but in a way that we are supported, in a way that we are really valued, but also in a way that the ego is not puffed up, is not inflated, and we are not presented disillusionally within ourselves that we are more than what we are. Because there are a lot of experiences with this outer ego where you can imagine that now Superman is behind me and he is helping me, and that's why I start behaving very peculiar in the reality, because I know that my imaginary hero is next to me and he is helping me, and in a sense it is helping us to make much more bolder decision when we have this type of outer ego experiences, and we have heroes around us that are supporting us. It doesn't matter if they're imaginary, but you understand that it makes you much bolder. But then when you are hit by the blocks of reality, you understand that reality is not able to give us anything more than who we actually are, because based on this connectedness, based on the reality interaction, the big long-term idea is what we are to be expressed in the outer reality as it is in its most pure form, where it is not corrupted from our wrong, in a sense, delusional type of conceptions and conditionings and so on, the most pure form of us, the most authentic part of us, to be able and allowed to really express itself in reality. This is the long-term goal. And this is what I just wanted to mark up and to mention. Of course, I'm into Christianity from 17-year-old, so it's more than 31 years. I'm exploring daily my connection. I'm finding always new things about my connection. I'm putting a lot of efforts, a lot of time, a lot of attention on learning, understanding. I'm not waiting for someone to tell me more. I'm researching for myself, because this type of connection for me is existential about the way I'm living my own personal reality in all its aspects. So once you understand that connections are important for you, start research for yourself. Start putting a lot of attention in what's important for you. Instead of all of us going into the television for 5-6 hours a day, yes, I understand it's entertaining. Of course, there are a lot of programming going on in your subconsciousness by all these movies and so on. But basically, if you want to build up your life, you are to research the different things that are in the area of unknown and to tap into more of the potential that we as human beings already have. And today I was just willing to tell you that I'm strongly into and involved into connectedness. Not only with the reality, not only with the universe, but with the creators of everything. Inside of me, outside of me, inside of my mind, inside of my desires, and this type of work is constantly done daily. It helps me to go into more coherence, it helps me to go into more alignment, it helps me to stay positioned where I am, and it helps me, my ego, to actually stay in constant worship and adoration of the creators. Instead of trying to be the God and the creator, and instead of me thinking that I am the only one in charge. Yes, I'm in charge in my realm of influence, but under my creators. Every one of us is not possible long term to have experiences without choosing and having also connections with beings that are above us. I know there are a lot of moving parts and there are a lot of knowledge going on, that there is nothing there is nothing more, everything is energy, everything is just a lot of scientific things and so on. I know that there is a big tendency of depersonalizing of everything, and we are the only one that are personalized. We are the only one that are individual consciousness, and the common consciousness and the big consciousness, there is no personality there. Only I can experience personalization because I have my own personal data stream. I have some uniqueness, and this is 100% true, but it is not everything that is out there. There is so much more than who we are, and it's better for all of us, if we want to be rulers of our own reality, to understand that there is so much more than what we think that there is. And I'm going to finish with this missingness that is always inside of us, this feeling of disconnection that is going to be through all our experiencing, and even once we are connected, it is not a final work. We are constantly going into more and more connectedness, but we are experiencing all the time also different types of disconnections in different areas, and long term we are to be bonded, we are to be connected with everything that there is inside of us in the different direction that should be long term connected, in order all of us to experience the wholeness of our reality. So, thank you for watching today. Enjoy your reality. Just know that there is much more, that we are built for more than what we are experiencing in every moment. Bye bye. Enjoy your reality and continue exploring.